afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting and everything amazing Propagandacaster. Me, your host, Paul.A.D, Master Propaganda, Hero of Sight, Defender of the Fatherland, your Lord and Master. Who makes everything go fast off here to a 1 versus 1. Oh, Crossroads. In the north, it's Fordes fighting for America, freedom, democracy. The 3rd Army Division tasked with breaking through this sector held by the Germans, the Nazis, under the command of Paul.A.D. Fighting here for the Wehrmacht, Germany, Das Reich, taking on the role here of the Panzerdivision here with encirclement, German infantry and elite troops. The triple stormtrooper combo. Hello, with infantry, machine gun panzerfighters, which kind of is infantry bullets in the way, and mines there versus Fordes with heavy cavalry and triple infantry. Paul here goes for German infantry, Deutsches Infanterie. Double rifleman out here for Fordes, Reactions on the way as well. They're Grenadiers and MD42 here for Paul. Moving eastwards here with the Pioneers spearheading in a particularly aggressive capping over here towards the eastern viewpoint there with the Grenadiers, MD42 then sort of meant to follow up on the connecting points to the point. Sandbags up here in the east, of course, make good use of the heavy cavalry doctrine in that sense. Some players tend to be less keen on it, but definitely a sharp move there. Sandbags up here as well by the eastern viewpoint to help defend. Machine gun being hauled up, likely it's going to set up the machine gun here, wiring off as well. And there you go, Raven going to move up here, catch the Pioneers just as they roughly finish it all. Grenadiers here can also theoretically either move into flank here, get behind the rifleman, they can push for the centre. More Grenadiers there on the way for Paul. 3rd Rifle's on the way there for Fordes, and they're going before opening up. And there you go. Grenadiers will be flanking up here on the rifleman. We'll obviously if Fordes expected that or he's going to care. Either way, Grenadiers moving up here. And that's going to force the retreat here for Fordes as the position is utterly compromised. He can't even stall. And that's just a bad engagement. Fordes realises this and immediately retreats. Good decision there. In the west, more tank traps, but wire Fordes is essentially setting up the battlefield ahead of time, expecting, of course, Paul to try and push for his viewpoints and trying to establish preemptive defensive positions. Of course, is a very good idea. Paul here just continuing to wire off soft, rifle moving in. Gonna just quickly pulling to the house, giving some ideas there. Machine gun being shifted out, very good. Some players just tend to stick a machine gun in one place. Obviously means that place is covered, but it does also make it very obvious. In some cases, it means you're just not using a machine gun to back up your troops, which is usually, I'd argue, kind of critical. 3rd Grenadier squad there about to be done there for Paul. Fordes with the triple rifle squads. Of course, again, the machine here makes it much harder now for Fordes just to fight freely. And he kept it here, sure this area would have been safe, but at the same time, the rifle here could most overwhelm the Grenadiers. Using the machine gun together with Grenadiers is usually how you want to do it with the Wehrmacht, in my opinion. And it's certainly making Paul here a much more formidable opponent versus Fordes and his riflemen, since the Grenadiers on their own, not exactly great here, but backed up by the MD42. Obviously, the Grenadiers themselves are also much more formidable. Lieutenant here for Fordes, cut-off point hit, nice play there, taking advantage of the chaos shown by the Grenadiers MD42 to then push for the cut-off point. Fordes, of course, realises he could try and deal with this. We're now trying to, hit for the fuel point instead, and force him to react to this or do something else. So, nice sharp reactive play there by Fordes so far. Paul, though, of course, is just shifting his entirety of his weight now towards the car point here, and we're likely then maybe swing towards the cemetery to gain control of that one instead. We'll have to see. Paul here, I believe, is, there we go, taking up. Very good. We're turning out here, and I mean, he could attack into here, could also flank. Obviously, right now, I think for Fordes, an idea to also consider would be a mortar. Once it's gotten some light vehicles out, I imagine, because there you go. Paul here and the Panzer is going for the 250, a light half-track, usually part of a Panzer Division's reconnaissance battalion. And that sense essentially acted like a 2nd Armoured Panzer Grenadier battalion in the division. Fun fact. And that was essentially the purpose. They were not necessarily reconnaissance troops. They were just there to support the reconnaissance armoured cars. So that way, make them easier for them to do their work. And in most cases, they actually just served as a 2nd Armoured Panzer Grenadier battalion. And they meant to just attack into where it's necessary. So, little fun fact there. The 250 half-track, like the 250 on a half-track, was essentially based off a non-armoured half-track, sort of, from before the war. It was basically just an armoured version of it. In the case of the 251, I think it was a 3-ton half-track. Here was a 1-ton half-track. It was basically just a tractor. So, all about equipment and such. Basil coming, running towards me, galloping away. To get petted, I suppose. Apologies there for any disruption caused by this adorable ball of fluff wanting some attention. That's Basil in a fluffball. In the east there, we got the 250 Arctic tank rifle, of course, lacking any anti-tank rifle in the early game. 4S is very vulnerable to an aggressively played 250 half-tank with pioneers and a flamethrower in it, essentially creating the M3A1 scout car combo, except of course more expensive, a bit slower, but just as nasty to anyone on the receiving end. 50 caliber here is going to try and catch with the armor-piercing rounds. Fun fact, whereas on an MG42 switch, moving about, machine gun will pop whatever ammunition's got away. On the 50 caliber, it will still keep firing. So that's a little fun, neat bit there. And there you go, half about to go down. 50 caliber almost took it out there. Pretty nice work there by 4S. A few more shots here from Rifle could take out the half. Oh, makes a wrong turn here. Perhaps the half does some poor pathing, but could take out the half. Nope, gets away. Lucky one there for Paul. Still, 4S is doing his best here to slow down Paul's fuel income, and of course push his own. But right now Paul's about to hit both fuel points, which in a map like Crossroads is dangerous as always. The map is bigger, so the more of the map you have, the more you can actually snowball faster compared to any other map. Paul beginning to add light machine guns. Been an interesting choice. Most players, I feel like, who go for German infantry obviously want the veteran squad leaders. That's not to say the light machine guns are bad. Oh, there we go. Got Stormtroopers as well, adding the MP40 there. The Schmeisser, it was colloquially known, but that was actually not really the actual name, and Schmeisser didn't have anything to do with the MP40, I believe. Anyways, MG42, they're being hauled forwards, halfway to Vetsunitsu already, very good. Rather they need to be careful, the Grenadiers fine there, but more important, the Stormtroopers remain to flank with MP40s, able to lay down a heavy wall of lead. Still 4S map, and these sandbags have been more or less just wired off. No one gets to play with the sandbags. You've been all bad children. You've abused the sandbags, now no one gets to play with them. 250 after going out there, and again, on its own, the 50 caliber can't really stop an assault. It is again part of a larger force with the armor piercing round, sure, but I say it like this, it is easy prey for the 250 half-tank, and I think in this case made a bad call. There's 4S, and there you go. Stormtrooper probably tactic advantage, increase the chance of getting a wipe, very good. Stuart Light Tank is a really good choice here, but he's going to try and nap the 50 caliber. We'll see if he can do that. Ooh, looks like he might be able to do so. Nice steal there by Paul, and the Panzerlehr Panzervision. They did lose the 250 half-tank. I'd argue it certainly had its impact if you at least steal a 50 caliber machine gun. And let's get some good damage in. Panzerfaust here might just give the Stuart Pioneers a chance to escape the Stuart Light Tank, slowing it down to a grinding halt. In the east here we got Rifleman and Rierson versus the Grenadiers. Rifleman need to retreat, there you go. Volley fire, there you go. Paul retreats the Grenadiers there rather than get them wiped. Very good decision there. Fuel pump being hit, taking advantage of the huge horde of weak, easily wiped troops, and of course then Panzerfaust has stood, and then rushing for the fuel pump instead. Clever maneuver there by Paul. Definitely leaving 4S there a bit hanging about. Back here, troops healing, reinforcing. Mines being laid down. Very good idea there by 4S. Almost got the eastern calf point back. Like to make a nice company for Paul. Quite a late one actually. But he's been having such great momentum due to some very good MG42 play. I would say has been less than necessary. Plus getting that Panzerfaust off the suit also helps a bunch. But he can't really keep up with that forever. So he's likely going to need either Pack 40, he's going to need Panzerschrecks to have a chance to stop that Stuart, because, well, again, he got a bit lucky there with the overfocus and getting stinging the machine. He can't really keep, again, hoping on that, so he kind of needs something a bit more solid. But there you go, 50 caliber being hauled forwards here by the German army towards the echelons in the east. The Germans probably did not really have a heavy machine gun like the 50 caliber themselves. The closer you had was the 2 centimeter flank, which as the war went on and it wasn't really increasing the good versus aircraft, was used in the sort of, heavy machine gun role, just, posing targets with 2 centimeter high explosive rounds, which is obviously very good versus infantry and light vehicles. So a little fun fact there. Stuart moving in here, troops reinforcing here. Got the Stormtroopers backed up with Pioneers, a nice little assault force there from Paul.A.D. assaulting the Riflemen and sending them packing. And West Hill Lieutenant moving up with Rifleman support, trying to cut off, trying to deny. Paul there's much resources, very good idea there. Can of course build a lot of fuel advantage that way and then pull ahead for the bigger tiers faster. Forrest, though, might want to get up some support weapons of some sort to back up his rifle, because currently Paul, besides having a bunch of infantry, of course, also has some machine guns, and that's rather what Forrest is lacking. So a mortar that way provides some fast support against Paul could be a very good idea there for Forrest, or maybe another 50 caliber, and particularly now the 250 half-track is gone. He doesn't have to worry about getting rushed, but again, he shouldn't have left it out like that when he knew his opponent had a 250 half-track. I mean, that'd be like, Valorant player leaving an MG42 on its own when there's an M3A1 scout car about, with engineers or flamethrowers. He's just asking for it. So, anti-tank gun out there for Paul. Machine gun there taking heavy losses, being routed out. 5th cover there in the east versus Rifleman. In this case, the caught nectar cover versus barred up Rifleman is pretty bad there for Paul. Could lose the 5th cover back here to Forrest, which would be great for Forrest. In this case, kind of looks like Paul might just have the luck of the devil here. The devil's own luck. Close one here. We got the Pack 40 getting in the way here of the Stuarts. Further pursuit and annihilation of the 50 caliber crewman. Close one there, but sadly not close enough for Forrest. Up northwest here, as he's trying to push eastwards, Paul is heading into the cemetery again. Good place there again, flexible, aggressive, and cheeky. 50 caliber following up there for Forrest. Hitting the eastern fuel point there with a victory point as well. Noting pretty close in terms of victory points between the two sides, though with a bit of a lead there to Paul. Housley's looking a bit risky there. Also noting fuel cache on the car point. Obviously makes it harder for Paul to harass, but also ensures that Forrest is going to get more fuel long run. Or at least minimises fuel losses. So good idea there. Lots of purposes on, particularly on a map like Crossroads for fuel cache. It also means, again, if Paul also gets more fuel, I mean, again, he's not going to fall too far behind Paul, which also has, definite benefits. And he's being routed, fuel points being seized and cut off, denied. So much happening here. Not a dull moment between these two sides. Stormtroopers creeping up here, going to try and close in fast on the Rifleman. Never get off a tactical advantage, but there we go. 50 caliber on top of Rifleman, heavy cover. Ooh, Brandhand routed. Rifleman routed, Stormtroopers, Gundy is routing the Stormtroopers as well. Got Pack 40 coming up, they're caught with the Rifleman. Could be a bit of a bad move there for Paul. If Forrest was to grab that Pack 40, it's certainly making it much harder for Paul to rush out any armor, and also, just give Forrest more to tank defenses. And also, just as importantly, remove a threat to the Stuart light tank. And there we go, the save by the MG42. Nice machine gun usage there by Paul.A.D. Definitely deserves some credit there. Almost got both fuel points again, plus the fuel cache and everything else, meaning he's going to be hauling a lot of fuel in there compared to Paul.A.D. That should allow him to rush out some medium armor here versus Paul, though Paul is certainly not slowing down himself either. He's already tagged up, so let's see how fast Forrest can tag up. At this stage, he could theoretically stall for the Pershing, but I would argue stalling for the Pershing now would be a really bad idea, and also just failing to capitalize on the fact he's getting now roughly 4 times as much fuel as his opponent. There you go, tag up there. Forrest is not going to do something as silly as trying to stall for a Pershing, thank the heavens. More points being secured, mine's going up down the south, very good. So yeah, Forrest there taking up himself, Support McCoy going up there. Paul will be able to get a Panzer IV first nonetheless, despite some of the early, due to the earlier fuel use there. But Forrest will be able to very swiftly catch up. He's getting 42 fuel now per minute. 42! That's a lot of fuel. That's a Sherman roughly every 3 minutes. That is a bit faster than that. And he can just maintain this sort of map control. He can essentially flood Paul with Shermans. But there you go. Stormtroopers there. Getting the up there, retreating rifleman. Nice work there by Paul. Good uses there of the tactical advanced abilities. Reason's rifle lieutenant moving westward, 50 coming up, respecting that, very good. East side though, he's clearly not moving in a lot here to stop Paul's advance into the east and the logging area here, where the fuel and victory point there is located. Major out, not far off there from the first Sherman. Paul though is not far off either, but at this rate, Forrest would actually like to be able to push out the first tank, simply again due to the sheer vast fuel income advantage he's had there, even for just a few minutes. So yeah, he's actually not far off at all. It's going to be close there. I mean, Paul may just be able to push out a Panzer. Actually, it looks like they can rough. Oh, there we go. Technically, 4S could get it out faster. Since he just hit the fuel he needs faster, which again is a bit lower than the Panzer IV. But so far, neither's pushing for the medium tank. Storm's up to deal with the rifle. Again, tactical advantage. Bold move by Paul. Stood moving in. Ooh, a bit too bold, in fact, perhaps. 50 Cavalry dealing with the Grenadiers in the west. Pinning them down, very good. No sign of medium armor from either side. Ooh. I would say in particular for 4S it's a bit more dangerous. As obviously also dangerous for Paul. There we go, showing the way for 4S. So, and Panzer IV for Paul, so they basically more or less go for the mutant tank at the same time. Still, 4S does have a slight fuel advantage now. They're slowly ripping away, though again you can quickly build it up again to get the easiest fuel point, which overall in theory means you can still get out more tanks faster than his opponent, which is what I want to do. There you go, incendiary armor piercing around the 5th Cavalry, very nice. Stuart going to flank up here, though lots of grenadiers could pose a bit of a problem if the Stuart light tank and its future survival. 10 kills in that Stuart light tank, putting some good effort here. There's the Krauts. Rifle 5th Cavalry pulling back. We got the reactions, the major moving out. Machine gun crew, they're retreating swiftly. Seizing the eastern fuel point. And there you go, direct Pack 40 on the Stuart light tank. Causing a bit of grief there. Grenadiers holding up. We got rifle reactions moving major, firing away, and there you go. Rifle grenade off on the rifleman, taking out quite a few losses there in the south. Massive counterattack force of the Pioneer Stormtroopers backed up by the 5th Cavalry. Lieutenant gets the fuel point though. He still has to retreat pretty fast. In the west, he's being stalled a bit, but the fuel point there should be able to easily his pack. But Panzer IV's arrived on the scene. Pack 40 is almost down though. Sherman arriving here as well for 4S. Pack White. I can grab that and turn against Paul. Paul should be in a bit of a rough spot besides the fuel difference. In the east, this dude's about to get taken out by the Pack 40. No, not Pack 40. Actually, what am I talking about? Maybe the 5th Cavalry could do some damage here to the rear with the armor piercing knives. There we go. There we go. He's actually damaging a Stuart light tank with the 50 caliber from the rear. Holy smokes! He almost got it. German here has the Panzer IV. Oh, going to grab the Pack 40 with the Grenadiers turning against the Stuart light tank. Very good, though he could end up losing the Panzer IV nonetheless. Sherman's in a much better condition here, which plays out a lot of advantages. Panzer IV stalled from the remaining Grenadiers, turning the table around. They're fine. Smoke drink. Oh, there you go. Sherman down in the end. In this case, the infantry made the difference, as it tends to do in these armoured engagements, allowing Paul to turn the situation that's actually kind of against him into his favour, because again, 4S's tank did not have any infantry support, and even just for the single grenadier, that's just enough to give the Panzer IV the edge it needed. So, thumbs up there to Paul, showing why infantry and tank working together is important, or tanks. So now, Paul enjoys the arm advantage here versus 4S, and that's pretty big. Plus, he still has a Pack 40 as well, so 4S situation suddenly got kind of bad. Just bring up bazooka teams here to help deal with it. Stuart, though, is exploded. Panzer IV is crushing the infantry with a blitzkrieg maneuver. Rushing through the base here, taking hits from the bazookas. He might just be able to take out the ambulance as well. Portis is going to try and escape with it, but no survivors. And the Panzer IV gets away with it. Having crushed, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 men and then destroyed an ambulance. That is one hell of a raid there by Paul. A brutal sucker punch if I ever saw any. Stormtrooper dealing with the lieutenant. Tactical advantage again. Once more turning the one-on-one engagement east in the favour of Paul Stormtroopers. Really good ability. Really good. 5th Cavalry has the Grenadiers suppressing them both, leaving them desperately struggling for survival. And pinned down. Giving 4S there in the west some respite here against the Nazis. More Grenadiers there for Paul. No Stormtroopers. A bit disappointed. Panzer Grenadiers with the tactical support upgrade is actually pretty good, and that marked infantry ability is very solid. Or just more Stormtroopers again would be solid as well, but ultimately it is Paul's decision and not mine to make. Back here, troops healing, reinforcing. Major moving up. We got Stormtroopers moving in there again, quickly ambushing, appearing out of nowhere and gunning down some Yankees. Halfway to eventually fitting the ace level there. Paul of 4S is in a rather sticky predicament. He's just taking some severe losses And sadly has not been able to return the favour, I think, sufficient there to Paul. Again, the Panzer IV still being operable, and in fact almost close to FC2 is a bit of a problem there for 4S. Another fuel cache up here. Is 4S going to try and stall for the Pershing now? No, he's going for the Jackson, alright. Again, the current situation, I think stalling for a Pershing would be pretty risky. Stormtroopers routed. Panzer IV is almost good to go. Mine goes off here, killing a few Grenadiers, buying 4S some time in the west. It's quite clear as obviously he's aiming for sort of a long-term strategy and also trying to negate somewhat, at least, any potential map advantages Paul can get from time to time by using that fuel cache. Jackson are halfway done. A huge amount of machine gun fire. There's the riflemen, 2 Grenadiers for light machine guns, plus the heavy machine gun team. That is a storm of fire. Where's the riflemen have to retreat from? Also looks like the 50 caliber, the Paul hat got destroyed or wiped. Though it certainly seems to have to fall back there. 50 caliber there being caught by the Grenadiers. Bit of a bad spot. The Grenadiers might have a chance to clear it out fast because of no cover for the 50 caliber. Plus, keep killing the gunner there. So there we go. Always be careful around these sort of situations. Lieutenant's about to go down as well here. It feels like 4S might be struggling a bit. He could have gotten a bit tilted due to some of the previous losses. He's starting to make more risky calls. He's just feeling frustrated, which is making it easier for Paul to deliver some punishing blows again and again. Rangers out here for 4S to try and help turn the tide. Thompson's being added. Pack they're caught out in the open. Losing that 50 cover there was pretty bad. Basically, when it comes to fighting light machine gun infantry and you have a machine gun, if you have it out in the open, you just retreat it, because most light machine gun teams, particularly the bit of veterans, can quickly clear a heavy machine gun team that's just set up due to how they usually sort of take a few seconds to begin firing. So that was a bit unfortunate call there by 4S, which cost him the 50 caliber. I mean, I can understand the mistake, but you know, it's nonetheless important to point out the mistake and you know what options. And there you go, catching the machine gun here, grenade there. Oh, he could get it in return there. Oh no, it's suppressed by the 50 caliber. He could still maybe wipe the 50 caliber machine gun here. No, the bastard gets away. And second right grenade off, he might be able to take out the other Panzer IV, which Paul was able to pull up. That should help 4S somewhat here against Paul. But of course, there's still the veterans Panzer will deal with. And he's going to blitz in, he's going to go for it. He's going to try and close the distance, showing that Jackson can't use his range advantage against the Panzer IV. And of course, quickly take it down. Because the Jackson's already damaged, meaning in that regard, in the most slug-out engagement, Panzer IV enjoys the advantage. Jackson survives with the 7 health. The Panzer IV keeps pushing. Damaged engine, he can get around the corner. Oh! Lost the Panzer IV. A close save there for 4S. So close. Grenadiers almost being taken by the rifle, but there you go. Other Grenadiers, machine gun team moving up. Grenadiers, get away! But the rifle could get taken out. Pack 40 being swarmed by whatever infantry 4S is left. Rangers reinforcing. Jackson being fixed up. Brutal stuff here. More Grenadiers there for Paul. He's just churning out the infantry now. Pack 40 wiped, but he can't quite get to it. Whew. Back here, troops in reinforcing. Paul is now without any armour. Will he try and take out? Will he go for Panzer IVs? Osvins. What will he aim for here against 4S? Still he enjoys an infantry edge, and in that sense, combined arms edge thanks to the machine guns. Then that's definitely giving some room there versus 4S, who is basically just trying to even some, you know, the elite rangers. They can't quite as easily just, you know, dislocate all of that infantry when they're backed up by 50 calibers. I still would like to see some Panzer Grenadiers, but that's just me. Pack 40 on there, going to take out another fuel cache here. Jackson good to go, but without any tanks in the field now. Obviously less to do here. Grenadiers versus the Rangers, very low in health. Grenade off. If he can pop a good grenade, he might be able to win the engagement still. There we go. So close though, so close. More Grenadiers moving up. Need to retreat the Rangers now. Rifle engagement's moving up. Jackson setting out. He's going to need a medium tank. Again, the option is there to stall for the Pershing, but I definitely describe that as being very hazardous. But for now, he's just using the Jackson as a improvised tank. Actually killed someone with it. Great hit here with the 90mm gun. That is pretty lucky there. Victory points wise though. Still kind of close there, but with an increasing gap in favour of Paul. Shown away there for 4S. Very good. Paul. Hard to say there's planning. I guess would be Panzer IVs, but there's room to being surprised. There's room to being surprised. Jackson falling back. Rangers need to retreat soon. And he ends up retreating them. You could also consider Scots just to help deal with infantry from safer distances, plus provide artillery support. Meanwhile, Jackson is just drumming about on his own. Michigan, they're opening up the Jackson is obviously not going to have much of an impact. Ambulance on the way to her 4S fine to replace the one that Paul wrecked. Still nothing going on the base here. But there you go, Sherman, number 2 arriving here for 4S for the 3rd Armored Division. Major moving straight into all the Grenadiers lined up with the light machine guns. Sherman setting out, 5th Cavalry being added. Another pursuit could fall into the hands of Paul and Germany. Panzerfaust off with damn the engine. There you go, Pack 40 joining in. Pack 40 has proven to be quite a thorn in the side here of 4S. And there you go, Bazooka in the hands of the Grenadiers retreats. Sherman should be able to survive that one. Would have been really bad here for 4S to lose it that fast. I mean, obviously the situation is still pretty bad, but as long as it doesn't actually end up losing the Sherman totally, it's salvageable. But a total loss there would very well, I think, been GG. And even then, of course, the situation is still very bad. Machine gun, they're waiting on the other side of the smoke. Nice work there. All of the troops being suppressed here. The situation for 4S is still not very good. Paul here looking overall very strong. Still armoured, still an attack up. Punts are going to be here now. That put him at a lot of infantry. I mean, he had 6 infantry squads. Obviously, very strong, dominant position in terms of infantry. And so he also one 4S will struggle to deal with. Due to lack of heavy machine guns or any sort of, shall we say, hard infantry counters. For now, trying to break out elsewhere, it seems like he's expecting this move to a degree with the Grenadiers behind heavy cover. Machine gun coming the other one. Sherman, Jackson getting ready to go. Still no additional armor there for Paul or any tech. He's just flooding fuel. Sherman in there. Pioneers taking a few hits. Bazooka firing the Jackson. Oh, Pack caught here by the rifleman. Quickly wiped up. Very good. Pioneers been blasted up with the Sherman. 4 killed. Coming this bunch up in front of the Sherman. Attack ground, I think around here, just a good shot. There we go, do some good damage, killing some Grenadiers, bleeding them out. Rather doing more damage. We could see up here on Paul's Grenadiers, looking very likely here. Jackson hammering away as well. 5th Cavalry up here from the south. There we go, got a wipe. Of course, there's still so much more to deal with. Panzerfaust and Sherman, halfway to 22. Rifleman's pressed with the 5th Cavalry up on the other side. Destroying the Pack 4, at least denying it here to Paul. Very good position. If you can't have it, destroy it. Deny it to the enemy. 10 kills on the Sherman, 11 kills, slowly approaching Veteran 2. Altogether taking advantage of the Veterans 1 bonus from Jackson nearby to just increase the rate of fire, making it more lethal. And there you go, Panzer X up here. Sherman situation suddenly went from alright to bad. Need to focus on those Panzerjägers soon. Oh dear, moving in. The Jackson is trying to disrupt the movement, allowing the Sherman to get some chances of getting a wipe. Going to use him on the flank with a Panzerfaust. And the Sherman is starting to dust wipe the Panzerjägers, but 4S's losses here have been horrific. Back here, still on an attack of additional armor. 4S is frantically and desperately fighting against Paul.A.D, but Paul.A.D just seems to be a few steps ahead half the time here. And it's making it very difficult for 4S to really make an impact. And there goes, he's popping out of the vehicle crew, indicating, I think, how just desperate he is when he's willing to do that with his Jackson tank destroyer with nearby enemy infantry about still. Machine gun there holding up another push up from the southeast. Essentially, Paul's got both sort of main avenues of exit from the base locked down with heavy machine gun teams, making it much harder for 4S to do anything. On top of the chronic lack of infantry suffering from, he doesn't even have the Rangers anymore. He's just down to 2 rifle squads, some reasons, and a major. He lacks some sort of massive shock weapon. Paul there bringing up more Panzers. There you go again, going with the crew. Going to try and take out the 5th Cavalry crew with it, but Pioneer's getting too close. Forces him to retreat. 4S refuses to give up. More Rangers out there. It's the 2nd Ranger Squad here for 4S and the 3rd Armoured Division. Looks like it's going to try and crash the Grenadiers here with a Jackson, but instead gets Panther-Fausted and bazookaed. Been calling the smoke from the machine gun here, using the off-map smoke power. He should be able to close in on the position, clear it out, but I don't think he's going to do that. And there we go, too late. Got suppressed already here by the ace machine gun crew. The situation for 4S is constantly deteriorating, falling apart here in the face of Paul's absolute increasing domination. Getting the western point, victory point on the west of the Rifleman, very good. 5th Cav now covering the eastern exit. 4S, the situation of winning, chances of winning this are now looking rather slight and minimal. Fixing up the Jackson tank destroyer. It seems like just Paul has realised he doesn't need any tanks, or at least figured he doesn't, because I mean there's the Jackson, but it can't do a lot better than the infantry, and with all the machine guns and all the infantry has, if he just maintains the infantry advantage, 4S is not going to have much of a chance to get back into this, because he otherwise lacks his tools, so he lacks force multipliers in that regard. I mean, he has no artillery, he has no machine guns left anymore, so his options for solution countering this force is actually quite low, because again, the Jackson just isn't helping. Well, aside from the occasional lucky shot. So, but just constantly pushing the infantry element, Paul's, well, more or less got this. "23 kills on that MG42. That is really impressive there. Good work by Paul. Rangers Rifleman push back, grabbing the western field victory point. Coming up there, close to veteran 2. Morton away for 4S. Rather late. Honestly, I think we'd have done much better with an earlier Morton. There you go, got an Osprey now here. Paul Peck sort of figuring he can at least go for something here. So he goes for the Osprey. He's also got more punch diggers out. But yeah, Mortar I think would have been much better for 4S, say much early into the game to have deal machines for that fire support that way rather than here now. It more feels like, you know, well, I'm going to lose anyways. I guess I might try something that maybe had it gone for this like 20 minutes earlier could have won me the game. And he's being shot to bits. More anti-tanks he's going to have to deal with the Jackson, of course, most of them equipped with bazookas rather than Panzerschrecks. Flak pans out here. At this stage, it seems a bit superfluous, redundant. Stormtroopers hiding about, ready to ambush, and there you go. There you go, veteranary fleet, tactical advance. They're cutting down the veteranary fleet rifleman in a matter of seconds. Really just highlighting just how good this ability scales with veterancy as well. An absolute beast. Nice uses there with the bar, of course. Black Panther moving out. Shoots, most of the shot misses. Still get some damage in and some kills, and there you go. GG, game over. A victory for Paul, a victory for Germany, a loss here for 4S and America. A nice little 1 versus 1 here, with some intense action, some clever moves, but in the end, 4S, I think, forced composition rather betrayed him compared to Paul there, who I think had an overall better one in the longer run. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed this match. Hope you learned something from it. If you did, subscribe, like, share, comment on it, tell your friends, tell your family, but don't tell your enemies. This is Imperial Linking. Cheers. Thank you for watching. Hope to see you all tomorrow again for a nice episode. Bye.